Hi, good evening and welcome to All About Sport. I'm Louise O'Reilly. Yes, it's that time of year again and the Cavan Sages Rally is taking place this weekend and I will be catching up with the organisers later on in the show. And first of all, congratulations to the Cavan minor and senior team that were very successful against Armagh last weekend. Joining me on the show tonight is Pádraig O'Brien, who is here to talk to us about the triathlon that's taking place in Cootehill this weekend. And if you want to catch any of our shows, we have now reached over 1 million viewers in over 203 countries around the world. So thank you very much for your viewings. So Pádraig, thank you very much for joining us on the show. How are you?
Thanks for having us.
Great. So you're involved with the triathlon. This is the first ever triathlon in Cootehill.
Yes, it's an inaugural event for Cavan Triathlon Club. Cootehill Chamber of Commerce are the organisers in association with Cavan Triathlon Club. They put a lot of time and effort into running the event, which is taking place on Sunday.
On Sunday, so obviously it takes a lot of organising to get something like this up and running. Incredible
amount. I'm not one of the chief organisers. There's a good few guys in Cootehill have devoted many hours to preparing for it. There's upwards of 100 volunteers on the day to make sure through traffic management and preparation of safety statements and everything else that goes along with it.
Brilliant. So it's taking place in Cootehill this Sunday, and it's in the surroundings of Belmont Estate and whereabouts in Cootehill is that? And Dartry Forest.
One of the things about triathlon is that it takes in a wide area. So it begins with a swim, bike, run. So it begins with a swim in the Dromore River, which is absolutely beautiful.
Lovely.
Right? Then you're onto the bike and you do a 20k cycle, basically out the Ballybay, Shercock roads towards O'Curry and back in, and then you go for a run through Belmont Forest.
Oh gosh, sounds so easy. I'd be tired even you just saying that. So the swim is first.
The swim is first.
That must be quite tough, swimming and getting out of the water.
Well, swimming, many people are obviously used to swimming in a swimming pool. Open water swimming is a little bit different, but in many ways it's a lot more enjoyable, right? On the day there's two swim options. There's a 750 metre swim and there's a 400 metre swim for people who may not be as confident. So
in water, the
vast majority of the swim is actually downstream on the Dromore River, and if you've ever actually been out there, it's probably one of the most picturesque places that you could actually swim.
Brilliant. And is the river safe enough for swimming? And obviously the current maybe will be going in.
Yeah. What makes this venue very good is because there isn't really much of a flow in the river, right? Despite the fact that we've had a lot of rain in the last couple of weeks, the temperature of the water is rising now, which makes it a lot more comfortable. But you have good gear. You've got wetsuits, swim caps. But on the day as well, just for anyone's concerns, there is going to be Monaghan Sub-Aqua are going to be there, and there's going to be people on kayaks, and there are many people who will be keeping an eye on all the procedures to follow.
Brilliant. You were saying to me that this is one of the triathlons, one of the fastest growing sports in Ireland. You know, so tell us a little bit more. Obviously, a lot of people really take this. This is one of their main. They go everywhere, taking part in these triathlons. They're everywhere. Are you one of those people?
I suppose triathlon's the fastest growing sport in Ireland at the moment, right? And I suppose in the last 4 or 5 years, people will even see from driving around the roads, they're seeing people out on bikes, a lot of people out running, and the swimming obviously it goes along with it as well. The beauty about triathlon is that you can go into it at any level, right? So it caters for beginners and right up to elite. So in many ways, when you're doing a triathlon race, you're really racing against yourself, and it's about getting a goal and achieving it.
Okay, so like a personal goal.
Exactly. It's akin to running a marathon, right? Many people don't expect to actually win the marathon. However, there's that brilliant feeling at the end of it.
Yeah.
So
and you were saying some of the top guys that would that we should look. From around Cavan, we've had some of the guys in on show. I think Desi Duffy, is that right?
Yeah.
You mentioned.
Look at one of the great things about Cavan and Monaghan area is because of the hills. It's actually a great place to train for running and for cycling, which are two of the big components, right? So as it happens, the standard is actually going through the roof in the last couple of years. And we have guys in Cavan, as you mentioned, Des Duffy, Killian Heary, these guys in duathlon, triathlons who are setting the standard and almost at a national level at this stage. We also have a good few members of the Cavan Triathlon Club have progressed to doing Ironman triathlons, which is all over Europe at this stage, where the lads have travelled to Zurich and to the UK, and again, that's where a marathon would be the final component of it. So it's just at crazy levels that I'm not.
Would you take part in marathons yourself? I mean, or is triathlon, like, how did you yourself get involved in triathlon? You're actually from Latton, you were in Monaghan.
Originally from Monaghan, yeah. I've been living in Cavan for the last couple of years. How did I get into it? I suppose I wasn't very good at football, so I had to do something, like, you know. But
a good big tall guy, I'm sure you'd be great at midfield.
Yeah,
that's what Monaghan wanted.
Well, look, I don't know. Like, I've done the running thing. Like, one of the great things about triathlon is that you don't have to be brilliant at each discipline, right?
Yeah.
So if you're reasonably good at swimming, reasonably good at cycling, and have a reasonably good interest in running, you can actually do reasonably well, you know. So some of the people that are winning triathlons may not be superb runners or superb cyclists, but they're just a jack of all trades. So it appeals to people at my age group as well, kind of from late 20s onwards into 30s, 40s, 50s, right? So that at the end of maybe playing field sports would get into doing triathlon, because it's good. It's not something that you pick up a lot of injuries in. Where
do you make up the most time? Is it, you know, the running or the cycling part, or the swimming?
In most instances, the cycling, because you spend more time in the race cycling. So if you've got, let's say, a 750 metre swim, right, at a 20 kilometre cycle, and then a 5k run, the 20 kilometre cycle will be the you'll spend the longest time actually doing that. And like, you've also in the cycling, you've got technology to help you. So some of the guys that'll be at this thing on Sunday have bikes that could be upwards of 10 grand. Right?
Oh, right, okay,
so,
yes, you're talking, right.
Exactly, and the speeds that these guys can get up to are
Do they
immense.
have like digital things to tell them, like, you know, the speed they're going and what they need to go to get?
Absolutely.
It's all calculating it for them as they cycle.
Yeah, you know, like you mentioned that you have the Cavan Rally this Sunday as well. Some of these guys on the bikes now would probably give them a run for the money almost.
Really,
like,
to reach high speeds on.
Well, like, in
bikes.
fairness, like the elite guys would be averaging over 40 kilometres an hour, like, for the 20k. Yeah,
that's unreal.
Yeah.
So like that, you know, it's obviously expensive to have a bike. So do you have your own bike? Something you had to purchase?
I do. Mine cost me €400.
Yeah. So. All right. So okay, good point. So I mean, for anyone watching,
exactly, and like you know, people who get into triathlons, people who do it on Sunday might even have a bicycle, borrow a bicycle. So like, it's the important thing to remember about the event on Sunday is that, you know, it's to attract people to the sport. Is to get an interest into it, right, and attract people to Cootehill as well, and let them see the area. You know, we're expecting people from Newry, from Donegal to come down. There's going to be a big crowd there, right? And we encourage actually people who aren't participating to come down and actually watch the event, see how it's going, because it is a fantastic sport that, you know, suits an awful lot of different people, male, female, and all age groups.
All age groups are welcome. So I suppose if anyone wants, as you said, have a taste for it and give it a go, and something to kind of be, and it's a great location. I suppose very central for, you know, a lot of people when they're coming from all in places you mentioned. It's
a great location, and like, you know, if you've never actually been to a triathlon before, you will find it fascinating, because one of the things about it is you know, you've got a transition period where you have to go from obviously the water to the bike, and then again from the bike to the run, and to watch the elite guys, how quick they can actually transition from one discipline to the next, you know. So it is actually a great thing to watch.
Is it a spectator sport, or is it more participants based?
Well, like, it obviously is participant, but like we've got, you know, we say like cycling is participant sport. You'll see that like with the Ross is on at the moment throughout Ireland, and it'll get huge crowds, almost like the Tour de France as well. So at a local level, this is a great opportunity to see guys and how fast they can go on bikes, and a lot of these guys have what's called time trial bikes. So they're built for doing shorter distances, but they're aerodynamically placed so that they can actually get huge speeds up. And like, thankfully, the course that we have, the road is actually in very good condition, right? So
will be on the kind of the road, the
main
roads,
it's on the tarmac. The cycle is on the tarmac. So it goes up through Cootehill, out towards the comprehensive school in Cootehill, then heading over out the Ballybay Road, taking a left at Annie, heading towards Recurry, and then from Recurry comes back in to Cootehill.
So some hills along the way, is there?
Some hills, which is important to have hills, because that separates, you know, the good from the bad, right? But there's also some good straights, and as I said, the road condition is good, so you'll see guys getting up to good speeds. Then when they come off, they're going on to the run, which is a forest run, right? Which is up through Belmont Forest again. If you've ever been there, it's a really nice location, you know. So and then I
think I have that out beside where that little sports centre is for. What's it called?
If you go down beside Abbott's, you know, across from Abbott's in Cootehill, it's known as Halton's, right? So that's Belmont Forest is up there.
Oh no, I think I've been around that before. But so, what type of, you know, even for swimming, like, I mean, do you have to wear special like swimwear, you know, the suits?
Yeah,
wetsuits.
like you need like a wetsuit.
But a very fine wetsuit, obviously, if it's to get through the water.
Well, yeah, it'd be a little different to the wetsuit that you would have, for instance, for surfing, right? It'd be kind of a course. There is actually like the more aerodynamic in feel, so that there's less resistance.
Exactly.
Right? It's important. A wetsuit is compulsory because otherwise, like the water would be too cold to go into at this time of the year.
Yeah.
In this
so you need,
instance,
and
right?
your like feet and all be covered. Is it?
Your feet wouldn't be covered.
No.
From neck down to ankle. So
so into the wetsuit.
Into the wetsuit, your goggles, cap as well, swimming cap as well, and off you go.
Everyone heads off the same time. Blow the whistle. Everyone runs in.
Everyone. Well, the event on Sunday, it's a floating start, so everyone starts actually in the water.
Oh, very good. Okay.
And when the siren goes off, you just go for it.
Oh gosh, I
can get a bit hectic at that stage.
Yeah, just knowing, and when everyone's kind of splashing and getting going,
Yeah.
And then so. Up out of the water, do you like get out of the wetsuits and then change and move on?
Out of the wetsuit, and you have your cycling gear on underneath the wetsuit.
Yeah, so it's obviously
straight
very
out.
fine. Yeah.
Onto the bike, through the transition area, onto the bike, and off you go.
I was glad you said you had that other gear underneath. I think that could have got lots more spectators out. but yeah, so and then straight onto the bicycles. And is there special, like for them bicycles, you need special footwear?
Oh yeah, well, again, the vast majority of people would have them, but some people who are only getting into the sport would have put on their runners and would have a standard bike, right?
Okay.
But like the kind of bikes that the elite guys would have, and the majority of people would have, obviously clip-in shoes.
Yeah.
So it just gives you more kind of power. Like,
brilliant. And then off the bicycles, and then the running part.
And then a 5k run, yeah.
Does the time stop when they're moving from one? Like from swimming to running, or just keep so you have to be quick at getting changed? No,
the time starts from when siren goes off till you cross the finish line.
Right.
So, but what you do is like this is officially it's a timed event. So it's chips. You've got a chip in your ankle, so it records the time as you're coming out of the water, going through transition. So at the end, not only are you interested in your actual finishing time, but you can analyse like the time it took you to do the different legs, and also do the transition, because in many instances it's the transition period that you can actually get your times down. So if someone takes a minute and a half to get out of the wetsuit, or someone else can do it in 35 seconds, you've got a great advantage.
So do you be practicing all the time in and out of the shower and in your wetsuit on some days off? I was just coming to the next point. What type of training is involved? Like for you, are you at a little advantage? Have you been testing the waters around Drumore River, or
I actually haven't been in it this year yet.
Yeah.
But we have a triathlon club in Cavan.
Great.
Right.
Yeah.
At the moment, we swim every week on a Tuesday night in Cavan Swimming Complex, and from this time of the year onwards now, we will be doing open water swimming, be it in Drumore or be it in Anna Lake. Like for people if they wanted to join Cavan Triathlon Club, we have a Facebook page, so just make contact there. It's a very friendly organisation. There's a social aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
Some people take it serious. I don't take it hugely serious, right?
Yeah.
I do it for the enjoyment and just to try and keep fit.
Yeah, brilliant. So how many members would you have in the
club? We would have in around 50 members in Cavan Triathlon Club.
That's great. And I know Tony McMahon, we'll have to give him a shout out. Well known here in Cavan Town.
Tony's one of our Ironmen. He's completed.
He's one of the Ironmen. I wouldn't be surprised. So look, just to let everybody know that it's on this Saturday. If you just want to give just to the camera there, Pádraig, where people can register and times, etc.
Okay, so the triathlon is at 12 o'clock on Sunday, 26th of May. Registration, you can register online on runIreland.com or on Saturday evening between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock at St Michael's Hall in Cootehill, and from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Sunday morning before the race. You can also register in person there.
That's brilliant. Well, Pádraig, thank you very much for coming in, and I hope everyone gets down to Cootehill this weekend. It sounds like a great event, and anybody who's interested in triathlons, it's a great place to start. But look, thank you very much, and I wish you the best of luck with it.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.